don't forget we all started somewhere.
Yeah.
One of the things we try to say is, hashtag dance with everyone. It's like, no matter what, if it's their first time, like, try to dance out. Like, we can always dance with those veteran dancers anytime we want. But this could be the first time that this person's trying it out. And, just give them a chance. It's like, hey, would you like to dance? And, people are like, oh, I'm not good. I'm like, oh, we didn't ask if you're an expert. It's like, we just want to enjoy the dance. So, like, that could make a...
So hello everyone, welcome to today's episode of the Too Liffy podcast. My name is Terrence Greer, and I am joined today by the wonderful and incredible Sami Ahmed and Alex Kohler. You two are Brazilian Zouk dancers, instructors, as well as performers.
Yes.
Sami, you are the founder of the DC Zouk Festival.
Yes, sir.
That's correct. And you also were a capoeira instructor as well at one point.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
DJ as well, actually.
Of course. Yep.
You got quite
Jack of all trades.
So first, I just want to thank you both, really for coming on the show. Man. Really
thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah.
So if I'm not mistaken, Alex, you were born in Maryland, born and raised?
Born and raised in Maryland.
Okay, sure enough. I'm very curious to hear you start this out. I guess, what was your childhood like growing up in Maryland? What was that like for you?
Busy. I have one sibling, and we just always went to gymnastics every day, came home, did chores, went to bed, hung out with the family on the weekends.
Hey, sure enough. Has dancing always been, a thing of your life, or?
No, not till college.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So once I went to college, my roommate loved dance, tried to convince me to go out, and finally I did, and didn't love it at first, but then kept going and was like, okay, this is something I really enjoy.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So tell me this real quick then. I guess growing up in Maryland, how important was music in your childhood?
I feel like it was something that kept me, going, especially when I'm going all the way in the car all the time, back and forth from gymnastics and doing things like that. It was just always something that I loved listening to, loved sharing with people.
Mm-hmm. So you keep bringing up gymnastics. How long did you do in gymnastics?
15 years.
Okay, so that's a big part of your life then.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's awesome.
A little bit less actually. Yeah,
okay.
13, but yeah, it was a huge part of my life.
Okay,
I'm trying
awesome.
to remember.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. And Same, if I'm not mistaken, you told me that you were actually born in Ethiopia. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, born in Ethiopia, and how long were you there?
I was in Ethiopia for a short part of my childhood, I was 6 months, maybe a year.
Okay, so you probably don't remember too much, or?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, there's some pictures, but that's all I can see.
Okay,
yeah.
So born in Ethiopia, man, and so what happens after that? Where did you go?
So I came to the United States. I came to Dallas, lived there. I had some family there. And then from Dallas, we went to California.
Okay.
And then from California, we came here, and it's history from there.
Okay, people are going to ask me, so what part of California?
LA.
Okay, sure enough.
Yeah,
okay, the big city.
Yeah, LA was my, every time I go to LA, I get to, where I grew up, where I went to elementary school is actually still there. Everything is there. So it's pretty fun memories.
Okay,
yeah.
that's awesome, man. So I guess let me ask you this then. I'm very curious to hear, man. If I'm not mistaken, Ethiopia is in Africa?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We call it the Horn of Africa.
Okay,
so it's East Africa, Horn of Africa.
Okay, all right. So tell me this. I'm very curious too, man. What was it like growing up in that household? Having Ethiopian parents, man. What was that like?
It was unique because my parents were still on that Ethiopian African mentality.
Okay.
And I was being raised in the United States.
Right.
So a lot of times people were like, and I grew up in the 80s. So growing up in the 80s was pretty different. So parents were they're strict, but at the same time loving. And the thing is, they didn't see U.S. culture. They just wanted to focus all on Ethiopian culture.
Okay.
So they're like, oh, you're not American. You're Ethiopian living in America.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, that concept makes sense. And what's funny is, to this day, my parents still have that mentality where I'm still Ethiopian living in America. So
okay.
Yeah, it's a thing.
No, I understand, man. Tell me this. I'm gonna ask you the same thing, man. How important was music growing up in that household?
For me, like music was very important. My mother would always sing like these certain lullabies when I was younger, and I used to love, like when I was a child, like when I was little, I used to love music. I used to love listening to. So I don't know if people remember this, but there's these shows on TV. It's called Lip Sync.
Okay.
So Lip Sync is kind of like the original, like so you can dance and things like that. But music was always playing, and I always had like different aspects of music, and music was always important. Not just like music in the U.S., but just like cultural my music as well.
I understand.
So it was always around.
Okay.
It was never like there was never a short of music.
Okay. Tell me what were some of your childhood hobbies, man? Were you always big into dancing, or?
Actually, as a child, I loved playing games. For some reason, like video games was like my thing when I was like Nintendo just came out. So I mean, I guess that's telling my age. But like it was just like, I mean, I enjoyed it. Like I loved being with people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I enjoyed. There's so many people that were around, so it was just like other kids, other family members. I just always wanted to be together with other people.
Okay.
So it was like that was really important.
Okay. So
hey, if you could leave a like and subscribe, that would be amazing for the channel. Let's get back to the video.
That was really important.
Okay. So tell me this real quick. Did you have family already here in the U.S.?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm an only child.
Okay.
So my mother had multiple brothers, multiple sisters, some living here, and actually some living in Canada as well.
Okay.
So it was always an option of where we would be able to travel to see family.
Okay, so I understand that, man. So Alex, you were telling me though that growing up in Maryland and everything, did you go to school in Maryland? I guess university.
I actually went to school at Liberty University.
What was that? I'm not sure.
Sorry?
Where was that at?
Oh, it's just in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and I have to ask. We're kind of jumping forward. I would like to hear more about your childhood, but I guess what was that experience like going to Lynchburg?
It was interesting. It's very conservative.
Okay.
It's a Christian college, so kind of was used to it because I went to a private school growing up my whole life. But I kind of am a little bit of an introvert, so keep to myself, go to classes. But it's a good crowd, and people were extremely nice.
Okay, I understand that. And so you told me that your roommate got you into dancing?
Yeah.
And so what was that? What was your first class, may I ask?
It was for salsa.
Okay.
So I was going through a really hard time, and everyone's like trying to pull me out, doing different activities, and with a loss. And I was like, okay, I'll try to go dancing. And I'm always a person where if I'm not good at things when I start it, I don't always love them. So, it took me a few times where I feel like I was actually starting to get into more of the swing of things, and I was like, okay, like I can get into this, and then that's when I really started pursuing it more.
So I have to ask you this then. The beginner stage in anything can be very difficult, and so for people out there who, may as well be struggling in that initial stage, going back to your beginner stage, what do you think kept you going, and why did you stay with it?
It was the crowd. It was the people that I saw when I was dancing. They were having so much fun, and then it was also being able to see how people from all different parts of life, all different ages, were friends and enjoying each other's company as well.
Who was your first instructor? Do you remember?
Oh, I actually don't remember. No, I believe it was someone named Jose from.
It's very specific.
Yeah, but it was really great.
Was it like a university taught class or a dance school in Lynchburg?
It was a dance, small social in Lynchburg.
Okay.
I
understand. Sure enough. And so, I've never been in Lynchburg. Is there a big dance community there, or?
So there was one right when I was starting. I feel like it was starting to get a little bit larger, but now it's. I believe it's still going. I haven't been in 2 years, but I saw classes actually just starting up at Liberty University for salsa
That's
as
awesome.
well. So.
All right, I'll keep that in mind. So if you're ever near Lynchburg, check it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure enough. And so, Sami, I guess I want to ask you, man. You told me you had a background in capoeira.
Yeah.
Just how did that come about?
With capoeira, actually, a friend of mine was looking for a martial arts class.
Okay.
We were looking online, like, oh, this is like, a long time ago. So we were looking at these classes. Then he mentioned judo, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then he mentioned capoeira, and I immediately said, oh, that's from that movie a long time ago. There was a movie called Only the Strong.
Okay, I haven't seen it.
Which was, it's in the early 90s. And basically it was like, do you remember the movie, I think it's Dangerous Minds?
Yeesh, I don't, man.
That was when like Coolio, it's like he had that song, it was, but the whole idea was like basically getting the worst of the worst from like inner city school, and then having a martial artist from out of the country or something train them to be better. So that was where, and then I remember that instantly. So then I was like, oh, let's try it out. Yeah. We both tried out capoeira. He quit. Okay. But then I stayed on, and I never stopped ever since.
Okay. So if I'm not mistaken, capoeira is from Brazil. Is that correct, or?
So capoeira is Afro-Brazilian.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Right,
so it has Afro aspects and at the same time Brazilian aspects as well.
If I'm not mistaken, what the slaves would dance it and trying, they would. I said would fake it or like.
Right. So the idea was the Africans were brought to Brazil as slaves, and in Brazil, what happened was the slaves would try to revolt against their masters, but they would train, making it look like it was a dance, so that after when they tried to revolt, they would be able to take over their masters. Okay. So a lot of times they're like, oh, they're in a little area, they're not doing much, they're not really doing anything crazy, but they were actually training kicks and movements and things like that. Yeah. Okay.
So let me ask you this, man. You say you practiced it for about 16 years, or?
About 15, 16 years.
Okay,
yeah.
man, I'm very curious to hear, man. I guess what did that teach you? Were you able to take anything away from that?
Yes, actually, I'm actually the shyest person, like in general, like public speaking, things like that. It actually helped boost my confidence. Okay. I was able to, when I was teaching, I was able to talk to people like in a manner that was easier for me, more comfortable. And music was probably my world. Okay. And from there, I played all the instruments. I learned another language, Portuguese. Portuguese, okay. So it taught me so many different things, and actually it still helps me today because, I learned not just in the dance community, but just in the community itself. So many diverse people. I met pilots, lawyers, so many different people. Okay. And that's the beauty of it. Yeah. Anybody can do it. So, okay. Yeah, that's what meant a lot to me.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's definitely amazing, man. So I guess let me ask you this. I was going to just bounce between you both. So Alex, you started taking salsa classes, and you said that initial stage was a little bit difficult. Do you progress into maybe bachata, or what is your dance journey? What has that been for you?
Yeah, it's been from salsa to bachata to Argentine tango. Okay. I attempted West Coast swing a few times. Kind of wasn't fully my thing, but I do really enjoy it. And then Brazilian Zouk.
Okay, all right. Okay. And so, is it safe to say that Brazilian Zouk may be your current favorite?
It is my favorite, for sure. I love the music. I love the feeling of it while dancing. And then probably tango is my close second.
Really? Okay. Yeah. So I don't know much about tango, so let's speak on that real quick. How did you get introduced to tango?
It was through a friend that I met out dancing. He was just like, oh, come on over. I'll help teach you and your friends some tango, and we'll kind of go through some moves and different styles of dancing too. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. Yeah. And then I started going to Malangas, which is their socials. Oh, okay. And just really enjoyed it. It's different because I feel different styles of dancing kind of goes for the mood, how you're feeling. So maybe if I'm more feeling like I have a ton of energy, I'll go to a salsa and bachata social. If I'm feeling more laid back and I want to really just savor the moment, I go to tango because I can sit there and watch that dance all day. And then Brazilian Zouk I can do all the time. So
So I don't know much about tango, so I'm very curious to hear. Tell me about your beginner stage learning tango. What was that like for you?
It was a process because the form is so different and the music is extremely different, especially here in Charlottesville where there's a smaller scene. They're a little bit more formal. So it's not, they have something called Nuevo Tango where you can dance almost you can dance tango to anything. The concept is, I can turn on any song in the world and you can dance tango to it. But here in Charlottesville, it's a little bit more of like the classic songs that they would play in Argentina a long time ago. So it took me a while to like get used to that, but I always loved the sound of the instruments and just like how people interpret it differently.
Let me ask you this real quick then. So you have a background, you said salsa, bachata, West Coast swing, and tango. Does anything that you learned from those dances, does that help you in any way with Brazilian Zouk? Are you able to translate any lessons learned?
I believe so. I feel like no matter what, you learn a form and you kind of just get the feeling of, okay, I need to like stick with this and figure it out and like figure out the guidelines. But outside of that, you can put almost anything into a dance. Like you can learn your own styling, maybe in the feet with Brazilian Zouk from tango, or maybe like different hand styles that I've done from bachata, or just different small moments that the lead like opens up for, a follow is your opportunity to do anything you want.
Okay, sure enough. I want to ask you both this then. Tell me, how did you both get introduced to Brazilian Zouk?
I did from his event actually.
The
DC Zouk.
Okay.
I actually went just to dance bachata. I had a friend who was like, Alex, I heard Brazilian Zoukers dance bachata amazing. Like, let's come and like dance. And I was like, okay. So it was a smaller room, and I stayed in there all weekend until the last night. And I was like, I'm gonna go try out this like Brazilian Zouk and see what it's all about. And I loved it. I ended up dancing the rest of the time, like the last night, 3 hours straight in the room, and was like, I don't want to leave. I don't want it to be over. It's 8 a.m. I'm sad.
Oh my goodness.
But I was hooked ever since that.
Okay. I want to hear about your, how you got introduced, Sami. But so you're learning capoeira, and I guess you stopped at some point. Is that because of dance? Like, why do you stop?
So I took a hiatus because it was just so much going on. So at the time, I had I was doing social dancing, and then I was doing capoeira. Then I actually had like a full-time job, so it was like it was a lot just going on, and I never had like any chance for myself. So little by little, I tried to minimize something, but then it was just harder and harder for me to continue doing it. I mean, I still love capoeira, and I still try to attend as many events as possible. It's just I haven't been teaching, so that's the only difference.
Okay. So I didn't ask you that. How did you get introduced to social dancing then? How did that come about?
So social dancing itself, I get introduced to it through a breakup.
Okay.
So I was broken up, and then I remembered this woman, Kat Arias.
I've had her on the show.
Who's literally like, she was my first teacher and my ultimate motivation to just be in the dance scene in general.
I've heard nothing but great things about Kat.
Yeah, she is by far amazing. And I joined her team, and then right before I joined her team, I tried this thing out called the International Zouk Flash Mob.
Oh yeah, okay. I've actually done it in New Orleans.
Right. And so before there were any classes or anything like that, there were just impromptu practices outdoors. We tried it out. A lot of us were doing it. I did like a choreo. We did it, and then ever since then, I was like, a month later, I found out there was an event in New York. I was like nervous, and I just bought a bus ticket just to get there.
Okay.
And then ever since then, I've been hooked.
Okay.
And I've just been like, oh, this is amazing. I love it, and this is like so calming, peaceful, and it's just so fun. So it's just like. Yeah, and that's how I got into Brazilian Zouk itself. So
you went from bachata to Brazilian Zouk then?
Well, actually, I joined bachata, Brazilian Zouk, and I did kizomba all at the same. I started all at the same time because I just wanted to just I was like, instead of just doing one, I wanted to dip in everything. I just wanted to see what the environment was like.
Okay.
And the DC scene has been very welcoming. It's just like there's so many options. So I'm very proud to be in the DC area. So that, I didn't have to worry about trying to find something. It's just always available.
Okay. I want to ask you this then. I don't know when you first got into the scene, but tell me about the, I guess, like the progression, the change that you've seen in the DC dancing.
In the DC dancing?
Yeah.
I would say, well, the change is based off of, like, there's so many different changes. I would say, like, venues, like, locations for events have changed a lot. A lot of dancers, they'll either move and then come back or move and come back, but those seasoned dancers are always here. The genre, the music style in DC, it's changed a lot as well.
Okay.
It went from, I guess, from a salsa scene to almost like a bachata scene, and then Brazilian Zouk now is like blowing up in the DC area.
Okay.
So it's just like, and the cool thing is there's so many different options. It's not like something gets forgotten. It's just something is still there, but just other new things are just being added to it. Like, there's a really big tango community in DC as well. And it's just large, so it's like nothing really ever actually goes away. It's just things just like rotate or form around certain other things.
Okay.
For example, the salsa room. Salsa room was pretty heavy on salsa for a while.
Right.
And now it's into bachata, and we've also introduced Brazilian Zouk, which is one of those things that's hard to actually find a club that's willing to introduce Brazilian Zouk.
Right.
So, you know, I think DC is just fortunate to have organizers, promoters, venues, club owners like that are willing to try.
Okay, right.
No matter what. So that's what makes a difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanna let me ask you this, and I don't know if I asked you this, but I would love to hear, you know, about your beginner stage of Brazilian Zouk. I don't know if I asked that already.
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, beginner stage. Like, I feel like you're a beginner in anything, people are always just open-minded. Like, they're just like willing to accept as much information as possible. The beginner stage was fun. We did like house sessions. We would go to like an apartment, and then we would all just practice for like 3 hours, do things outside. That's how it all started, and it was amazing. It was just so much fun. But the good thing is, when I tried it out, nobody was ever, oh no, I don't want to dance. But everybody was so welcoming.
Okay.
So
is that the
as a beginner, you don't understand. That makes a
definitely
difference. Like, it's like it makes a huge difference. Like, it could be like one of those things where it's like, you know what, I'm never gonna do this again, or I'm just gonna keep doing it.
Seriously.
And like the beginner stages, I was blessed to have a lot of people supporting in the scene.
Okay, that's awesome.
In the DC area. Yeah.
That I don't know if I asked you the same question. Like, did I?
You haven't, no. Okay. But I feel like the beginner stages for me were a little bit tricky because I live in Charlottesville, Virginia, which there wasn't actually any Brazilian Zouk dancing here when I first started, so I would drive 2 hours to DC.
Okay, that's dedication.
Yeah, and it would just be like, okay, I'm gonna go to a social, and I would like take maybe the hour class before, and then just try to learn as much as I could from dancing with people, which for followers, it's a little bit easier to like learn from dancing with people who actually know what they're doing, maybe than like leads just trying to figure things out. But I feel like there was a little bit of, I guess, beginning creaks and pains where you haven't taken classes, which is kind of difficult when for Brazilian Zoukers trying to do like head movements and like different dips that you've never done before, and it does create body pain if you don't know the proper form of where to like turn your head or how to move. Yeah, the proper technique. So once I finally like took, you know, further classes later on, going to congresses and different things, I was like, oh, this dance doesn't hurt me, and I do feel better doing it. So yeah.
Let me ask you this real quick then. I'm pretty sure it's you know, an issue other people face, and what I mean is you know, they may not have a near instructor, you know, someone near to them. Are there any options for them? And, you know, if they don't have someone close by who can instruct them, what can they do?
So I would say trying to collectively get a group of friends together to try to do practice sessions.
Okay.
That's literally the cheapest option. And at the same time, you get to hang out with friends and be like, hey guys, let's try this dance out, let's try to do this. Again, that's like the way to get people together and just try to do something. I would say after that is probably trying to go somewhere to get a little bit more instruction, or trying to raise money to bring an instructor into town to get some instruction as well. And instead of just getting somebody to do something for an hour, try to get somebody for a weekend, so you have a really large amount of information, and that way you can practice for like next 8 weeks, 10 weeks, until you try to bring somebody else or something like that.
Okay.
Ideally, it's not about trying to be as affordable as possible, but just what's convenient for you. So, for example, if some people are able to travel a lot, then it works out. But like Alex said, she had to travel 2 hours, and it's hard. It's a lot of time and money.
Yeah.
So it depends on the dedication of what you're willing to do. But I would say the best first option would be to get people together and to just try to practice, and then from there go up from there.
Okay, I understand that, man. So yeah, I definitely understand that. Let me ask you this, real quick. So you said you joined Cat's team and you got into Brazilian Zouk.
Mm-hmm.
I guess at what point did the idea of starting, the festival? How did that come about? And at that time, how long had you been dancing?
So that's the funny thing. I've actually been dancing probably 3 months when I decided.
Okay.
So the reason I decided that was because after I went to New York, I found out that there were other events in Miami. Then there's another event in LA. But then I was like, my hometown of DC, nation's capital, I was like...
Real quick, what year was that?
2013.
Okay.
2013, but the first event was 2014.
Okay.
And I remember it specifically because I remember I have all the emails. I think it was November 12th, 2013.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. So, because it was after Veterans Day, I think. I remember it perfectly because I was just like, hey guys, I'm just gonna start an event in DC. And everybody was just like skeptical. They were like this, because at the same time there was nothing going on in DC at the time.
Right.
Classes haven't started up, but then I just decided, like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Let's try it out. Like, we'll see what happens. And it worked out. And ever since then, and next year, 2020, celebrating 7 years. So, yeah.
Well, that's amazing, man. But I don't want to jump ahead too far. Tell me, man. What was it like? 2014, 2013, when you're actually first starting that event, what was that experience like for you?
So because I've been organizing capoeira events, so that helped me.
That experience.
Ideally, talking to instructors, finding a venue, getting things together, that helped me the first time. So I think without having with having the background of my capoeira events, that helped me with the
Right. Okay.
And the idea was I had the support of the community. A lot of people were there locally. Kat helped me out a lot as well. So it was it made a big difference.
What was the first event held at?
It was held at the Washington Court Hotel on New Jersey Avenue.
Okay.
It was because it was actually in DC, and I would say maybe like 2 blocks from the Capitol.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It was a nice hotel. And that was actually the time that I realized dance events have to go past 3 a.m.
Okay.
So that's the norm now. Back then, I was like, oh, 2:30 is okay. But people thought 2:30 or 3 o'clock that's when you're starting. I was like,
okay.
Yeah. So I'm not used to that in the capoeira world. So 3 o'clock to me, I'm just like, oh, that's like. People are getting ready to go to sleep and go. No, that's when people are ready to party and have fun and dance, and they go to sleep at like 6 a.m.
Okay,
like, yeah.
It's different.
So I learned a lot. That makes sense.
So let me ask you this real quick. I wanted to kind of give value to people who may be listening, man. What are some things that you know now about running an event, a festival, that you wish you had known when you first started?
Number one thing I would say is have the proper team.
Okay.
Like support. Doing things by yourself is nice, but when you have the support, when you're doing it with a group of people, it's just so much better. Like you're able to enjoy the event. You're able to be a lot more calmer, more relaxed, so that the event can be more successful. But it's just like like having the team makes a big difference.
Okay, I believe
who's on your team.
Yeah,
it's like powerhouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not saying nobody can't do it by themselves. That's amazing, but I just feel that doing it with a group of people collectively, that makes.
Instead of one person yourself trying to handle everything, right?
Before?
No, I'm saying having a team instead of you just trying to handle everything.
Oh yeah. Doing anything by yourself is, like, doing it with doing it by yourself is hard.
Right.
But like when you have a group of people, it's like night and day almost.
I believe it.
And I feel like that mentality can go for anything pretty much.
Of course.
It's like, doing things by yourself here, like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that support system. Yeah. So Alex, I believe you said you got into Brazilian Zouk from his festival. Was that the first year, or when was that?
That was, I believe it was 2016.
Okay. And so is that how you all met then, or?
No, we met maybe a year later.
Okay.
Did we? 2018.
So
we met
I
April.
went 2017 and I started Brazilian Zouk in 2017.
Can I ask how y'all met?
Yeah.
We met at the. So actually, the funny thing is, we met before.
Okay.
But we never actually physically met. We've met at other events, but we've never actually interacted. So we met at the Baltimore Congress.
Okay. There's a Zouk Congress there?
No, it was a salsa bachata Congress, but they had a Zouk room.
Okay.
But the funny thing was, we met the last night of the event.
Okay.
And for her, it was, like, I was nervous to ask her to dance, and she was nervous to ask me to dance. Okay. And there was like a 30-second window between she was about to go home.
Okay.
And then she decided to just stay, and like, I think we danced like the entire night. Yeah, so we danced the entire night, and it was our first time dancing.
Nice.
And fun fact is, we were actually the only people in the room dancing.
Okay.
So, we felt bad for the DJ who just played music for us.
It wasn't a lot of Brazilian Zouk dancers there.
No, yeah, because it was just starting out. They didn't do much at the event, but it was just Sunday night. But people were coming in and out. Okay. It was a really good event. But it was just funny that was our only option, and like, it was funny because she had the option of either leaving or staying, and I was like.
You have to ask her to dance.
Yeah, exactly. and that was literally it. Like, it was just like, okay, like, and we always joke about it. It's like, what if you didn't stay that night? Like, we would never have known each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know she's been like dancing all over the scene and stuff like that. Okay. She's been in the salsa room. I was like, what? I haven't seen her before.
Okay. Sure enough. So let me ask you this. Then I'm very curious. So you meet each other. I guess. When does the thought of teaching, when does that come about? How does that come about?
I think we solidified like our actual to actually have a partnership. When was it? Was it
not too long after the fact? We knew we both just really enjoyed dancing with each other, and he asked me to help him with one of the socials he was having and teaching before one of the days, and I was like, okay, and it went well. We decided to just practice and start teaching after that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then from there we created the Facebook page and Instagram, and I was like, oh yeah, we're teaching now. Yeah, it was really unique. It's like, I feel like finding that partner makes a difference. It's like you can dance with anybody, but at the same time, it's like the other person should accent you, and it helps out. It helps out. I mean, the funny thing is, I'm not really the tallest person ever, so her height, my height, it actually works out. It actually works out perfectly.
Okay. I want to ask you this question, Alex, real quick. I'm very curious to hear. Do you think your background in what did you do? I'm sorry, you were a child. I'm blanking on it. Not ballet, but gymnastics. My fault. I'm sorry. Do you think your background in gymnastics has that affected your dancing, I guess, skill or your dancing style at all?
I would say so. Specifically, when I first started, it really helped, balancing. Okay. Balance is a huge thing. Yeah. Doing turns was a lot easier for me because I already knew how to spot from the turns I did in gymnastics, and staying like straight over top of, my center. Okay. Flexibility-wise, it helped. My core strength.
Yeah. Okay, I understand that. And you said something earlier. You said, when you were kind of taking the hour classes, you said some things might have hurt you. and then you notice you start dancing with some, I guess, the good dancers, you notice that this dance shouldn't hurt?
It was not necessarily dancing with the good dancers, because I can dance with, most dancers, and even if they're not always leading it correctly, I can do it. I know what their intentions are, and I can do it because I know the correct technique.
Okay.
So, now that I know the correct technique, maybe in like certain head movements or, how to step properly, that's what helped me not to maybe have like aches and pains the next day.
So let me ask you this then real quick. Is it kind of like 50-50, the leader's responsibility as well as the follower's responsibility to like ensure no one gets injured?
I feel like it always depends on the situation, but at the same time, it is, if you're leading a dance, I do believe you hold a lot of responsibility on knowing how to lead something. So you have maybe more responsibility in one respect because you're choosing to lead this move.
Right, okay.
So if you don't know how to lead it properly, you shouldn't really be doing it yet, or you should be practicing and making sure you're going to classes so you know it beforehand. So maybe if someone doesn't know how to follow it, they're still going to try to follow it, but if someone knows how to lead it correctly, you can kind of feel like, oh, okay, this is how you do it. Not always. You don't always learn just by following, but it does help. So.
No, I understand that. I want to ask you both this question. For you, Alex, though, and we'll relate it to Brazilian Zouk. In your opinion, what makes a good lead? Can you put that into words?
I feel like awareness. So, just like having a conversation, you can tell when a mood changes and you can tell how someone is feeling a lot of times. And that goes the same for dancing. You can tell how a person maybe body moves when you're leading them, and you can feel, okay, maybe they're not this flexible, so they can be more comfortable doing this move. And just being aware of what they're enjoying is huge.
Okay. I definitely understand that. So just awareness of the follower's capabilities?
Absolutely, yeah. Okay. And just the follower's enjoyment and how comfortable they are with you in dancing as well.
I think that's a big thing. And I guess awareness, in my opinion, I would word it being present, like in the moment. So not being so caught up in your head.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a major thing. I understand that, yeah. I'm going to ask you the same question, Sammy. In your opinion, what makes for a good follow?
For a good follow? I would say I don't know. It's really interesting because there's like so many different things, so many different options. For a good follow, I would say honestly, just relaxing. Honestly, like, because a lot of times I've danced with some follows and they're nervous, and then they're not relaxed. So when they're nervous, they're worried, and when they're worried, they feel like they're. Because a lot of times, like, if I'll dance with somebody, if somebody apologizes, I'm like, you don't have to apologize. And I'm just like, we're just dancing, we're enjoying ourselves. So then it's just like relaxing. That goes for the lead as well. Like, when you relax, I feel like when you relax, you can do a lot more. Yeah, and it's just, it's not just being so stress intense. I mean, for me, like I love to follow.
Okay.
So I love to follow.
That's awesome.
And it actually helps me lead. So when I follow, I try to relax as well. So I try to not tense up and get nervous, but just, I guess, relaxation. Just being comfortable and just relaxing.
I definitely understand. And when either the lead or the follower is tense, you kind of give that energy to your partner.
Right. And it's like one of those things where if you both are tense, then it's like you don't. It's like a seesaw. Like you don't, or not like seesaw, but like tug of war. It's like you don't know where it's gonna go. Right. So it's like. But if you both are pulling at the same time, it's like perfect. You guys are in the line, and it's like you guys are able to accent each other.
Yeah.
I don't think that any lead is better than any follow, or any follow is better than any lead. I just think that, it's 50-50. Okay. That's what we always talk about. It's like the lead is doing what they're doing, and the follow is doing what they're doing. It's not like you have to do this in order for this to work.
Okay.
It's just accenting each other.
How long have you two been teaching together?
Let's say a year.
Okay.
Yeah, about a year and some change.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you both this question then. What are some common mistakes that you see in your class that you wish you could rectify?
I would say the biggest issue we've ever had is creating a circle.
Okay, you getting everyone to like
you don't
on the same
understand.
page?
It's amazing. Like it's amazing. Like I think, and then we try to think about it. We try to figure it out. We're like this. Maybe it's us. Right? Maybe it's us. But then we've been to other classes, and I just noticed that creating a circle is like it's. For a lot of people, they get really confused on creating a circle.
Okay.
Just creating the groups of people.
I get you.
Yeah.
Okay, right, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, that's like it's funny though, because that's actually one of our favorite parts, because that is like the ultimate icebreaker, because everybody's laughing and joking about that part, so then the class just runs a lot smoother.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense.
I mean,
like,
I don't teach at all, but I understand.
It's a little bit of a joke for us. We were at Dallas teaching one time, and it took at least 7 minutes for people to figure out how to get in this circle. We were like, if you're leading, put your left shoulder inside, and we're gonna go counterclockwise. And it was just like.
Is it depending on the class size or?
Sometimes, yeah. If it's smaller.
I can understand a group of people. I can understand that.
but it's just funny because I mean, like the cool thing is once that icebreaker is set, everybody just starts to just.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you know what? It's gonna be this kind of class. It's gonna be like I mean. We're not like military. We're not like let's go. We just like to have fun.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we also like try to explain that if you remove the fun aspect of the class or the dance, then you're just like we're not doing like a training session. We're just sharing our knowledge. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the fun aspect and the relaxation and the comfortable is like that's important to us.
Yeah. Going back to a year ago, then tell me this. I want to hear about your beginner stage in teaching. What was that like?
So I took I attended some teacher training courses in New York.
Okay.
I attended 2, and so basically I projected that knowledge onto Alex, and I assisted her, and I explained to her, and helped her with that from what I was trained in. So that's what I know officially. There have been some times in the beginning where it's like oh, like she's curious about something, and I'm just like, oh yeah, well I'll help her out and I'll assist her and things like that. But in the beginning, I would say, I mean, I think we both danced well together, so we were just trying to get used to teaching well together.
Okay.
That really say.
I said real quick. So dancing and teaching are 2 different skills, correct?
Right. Yeah. So like, dancing is like you're enjoying that dance, but teaching you're actually projecting knowledge and information to other people.
Not all dancers are teachers, and not all teachers are dancers, right?
Exactly. And like we don't say we're the best dancers or the best teachers, but what we do know is what we know how to explain to people what we're doing.
Okay.
So it's like we're never like, I think it's like this. It's like that. Like we try to make sure that what we're teaching is something that we both already know and is understanding.
Yeah.
Instead of us, hey guys, today we're gonna try backflips. Like it's like what?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I understand. If you guys, what was your beginner stage in teaching? What was that like for you?
It was just different because I've taught gymnastics for 6 years actually, so kind of transferring maybe some of the knowledge I've known from teaching into something like a completely different activity, I guess, dance. It was good, but I feel like I was so knowledgeable specifically like in gymnastics when I was teaching, and then I go into maybe Brazilian Zouk that I hadn't been doing for as long or I feel as comfortable. So it took me a while to feel comfortable being able to like fully maybe always speak in front of the classes all the time and doing things like that.
I understand. So yeah, I guess that confidence over, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I want to ask you about that because it's something that I hear about often. Is people would say, you have been doing this for so long. Why are you teaching? Mm-hmm. Again, I guess I've heard people say that if you want to teach, then when should you start? 10 years in, 15 years in? You have to start at some point.
Right.
So I'm curious. I guess for you guys, when or why did things start to change for the better? Like, how were you able to improve your confidence? Was there anything specific that happened for you?
I feel like a huge thing is never being shy asking questions.
Okay.
So, maybe when I first started dancing, I would be a little bit more nervous asking someone, hey, like, I maybe don't know how to do this.
Okay.
What would be the proper way? Getting past that feeling of, feeling shy about asking how things are done, or, pulling someone aside at a practica or doing something like that. It just made me feel more comfortable and more knowledgeable. And then once you know how to do things properly, you feel like you can share it.
Okay. Real quick, I guess when you were kind of scared to ask, was that during when you were a teacher?
No, it was before.
Okay.
Mm-hmm,
So real quick, I'm curious then, as instructors, do you continue to train?
Yes.
Okay.
And we try to not stop.
Okay.
And the thing is, I think ideally we'll train for ourselves, but we're not training as, like, for example, if we take a class, we're not taking a class to teach that class.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking a class to better ourselves, so that for us we would be able to be comfortable with our basics and things like that.
Okay.
But like for us, we try to focus, like you mentioned about teaching at an early stage. We try to focus like solely on beginners.
Okay.
Beginners are literally like the foundation.
Yes.
So
yes.
like we try to not go above like any like ridiculously crazy movements. We just keep it simple. Like, hey guys, this is what we're doing, and then little by little, and then also when we do teach classes, if we'll go to like an event, we always talk about supporting the local community. Like,
okay.
You guys took this class here, we just shared some knowledge. If you want to make sure you want to learn proper technique and things like that, support your local classes and things like that. So that way, we're not just projecting nonsense and just ignoring it.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. I wanna get back to that original question I asked you. Common mistakes you see. You said developing a circle. What was the second? What was common?
Second.
The issue that you wish you could resolve.
That we could resolve. I would say.
And real quick, for these downfalls, I want you both to answer.
Okay. I don't know. Like, what would you say is like, besides the circle is like the major thing. it's really
big.
The main thing. But like,
it might be.
I guess for us is we try to not. We don't like to ignore anybody. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
If one person has a question, we will continuously answer it over and over again. But I mean, we always have that one person that has a question about every single thing. Okay. So it's like nothing's wrong with that at all. Nothing's wrong with that. But we always try to explain that we want to make sure everybody gets the same information. And if they have any questions, they can just talk to us outside. Okay. Afterwards, and like we're free to talk to them and help them out whatever they need. I guess for us is if we get asked a question that it just doesn't make sense to us. Okay. Like some people will be like, so are we at a 45-degree angle?
Okay, they were technical about it.
Yeah, it's very technical. Nothing's wrong with that, but then the way we're explaining it, we're actually explaining it the same way. It's just they're saying wording it differently than we are. So we're just like, but then it's like,
So I feel like that's part of one of the things maybe that was something that we needed to work on in the beginning as well, is maybe if someone asks us a question, only wording it in one way sometimes just doesn't click in everyone's head. Exactly. You have to be aware of, kind of look around and look at all the faces. Is everyone getting what we're saying right now? Yeah. And if not, that's fine. We'll word it differently and we'll try to explain it differently. People have maybe more like technical minds. People are more artistic. You have to be able to be like, okay, maybe our foot is at a 45-degree angle right now, and then other people will be like, face it towards the corner, just so you can get a little bit more.
So I do understand that. Absolutely. Of course, yeah. Real quick, let me ask you this real quick. For maybe someone who is a beginner out there in Brazilian Zouk, and they feel like that they're not getting better, they're kind of stuck in that beginner's rut. What advice could you give them to help with that?
So I guess to us, like, it would depend on what type of beginner rut. So I feel like a lot of times as a beginner, and we express this in our class as well, as a beginner, you're trying so hard to do something like somebody else, but when you try to do something as yourself, it's a lot more comfortable. Like for example, when we teach our classes, we don't play traditional Brazilian Zouk music. We play Zouk bowl music.
Okay.
Something that people can relate to, something that's on the radio. So that way people feel a little bit more comfortable. And some people are like, oh, you can dance Zouk to this song.
Okay.
So when people see that, they're like this, oh, they understand it more instead of trying to learn a brand new song and then a dance at the same time.
Okay.
I think just be comfortable with yourself within the dance. Try to find like something that you're really comfortable with, and then go from there.
Okay, I understand.
I mean, that's like I would say that's a, what do you think? Like that's like a simple way of...
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, especially beginners, put themselves in a box, and then I always tell someone, you know, try to watch as many people as you can and see what they're doing, but also you have to realize everything is always, it's going to be your own style that you need to, making sure that you and your partner are comfortable as well. So maybe taking a moment and just like breathing with your partner before beginning, and like, or just taking like, going like doing movements the entire time, like just walking around and doing the basic. Like there's nothing wrong with doing that as long as like, you know, you and your partner are both having a good time and experiencing it. Sometimes just doing something like that will kind of make you have a whole new feeling about the dance.
And that I will say this, like, I think people watching during social dancing is probably like, it's just amazing.
That's
like,
a great way to learn too, visually, right?
Yeah, like, and the thing is like, so the thing is, I think people always want to watch the experts dance, right? Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
But like, I think if you ever actually sit down and watch like people that just started out dancing, you see like something else. You see all that, like the spark, like so much excitement, like that fire. They're like this, like, and when you see that, like, you never get like. It's amazing when you're at a social, you're like this, oh, you're looking like this, oh, everybody's having fun. And then you see this like beginner, they're doing the movement, and then they get it, and they get so excited. That's like, I don't understand. That's like, it's amazing to watch that. Even if it's like a regular basic, nothing's wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful to watch somebody get excited for something.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, I mean, of course, watching experts is fun too, but I really like watching people that are just starting out. Because they're like, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get it. Like, so that's like the cool part. That's the cool part.
That's awesome, man. Real quick, let me ask you, like, I guess the progression of that question is, so, you know, for someone who is an intermediate and then maybe Brazilian Zouk perhaps, and they want to get to that advanced level, what does it take for them to get there?
I personally would say, if you feel that certain classes are not up to par, what you think, I would say find an instructor or dance style that you like, for Zouk or whatever dance style, and then try to figure out if you can ask them, try to get a private. I would say maybe 2-3 privates. Try to just find your niche and then go from there and build up on it. Like if you like a hip hop style, or if you like you know, like a more sensual style, like try to find that instructor that can help you out. Sometimes like an hour private could just something can click that you never even realized. Like even if you've been dancing for such a long time, I think you just need that one thing. I don't know, like it's like something.
I get you. It's a dedicated class for you. So yeah, of course, that one-on-one training. Yeah,
so it's just like, and then at the same time, it's you're requesting, like what you're requesting is like, oh, I want to learn this. Can you explain this a little bit better? That way, you'll feel a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, taking privates, I would say, is a nice thing, especially people that you rarely get to see. A lot of people traveling to the U.S. and things like that. Get that 1-2 hour whenever you get a chance. Yeah, I mean, if you spend that much money attending an event or something like that, you might as well just go for it. And those people that you're always looking on YouTube, always ask for a private. Like, just check it out. See what the hype is about. You know.
I understand that. Any thoughts on that, or you agree with that completely?
I agree. I feel like a huge way, maybe if you're intermediate and want to get to an advanced, privates are huge because you can say exactly what you're wanting to work on. But beyond that, I mean, just making sure that everything at your intermediate level is like being done properly. And then some people are like, I'm intermediate and I'm ready to be advanced. And you know, there's nothing wrong with being intermediate and being there for a while just to make sure before you start advanced movements, they're being done correctly, because that's the advanced movements are when it starts getting, even more maybe risky for your partner.
I understand.
And you need to make sure you're being aware of the dancers around you too.
I understand that. I definitely do.
That also makes sense for like in the Zouk world, Brazilian Zouk world. There's a Jack and Jill.
The competitions.
The competition where you're able to be judged and scored on your talent and skill level. The Dance Council has been doing Brazilian Zouk Dance Council.
Real quick, I'm sorry. So for people who may not know, Jack and Jill is where you're matched with a random dance partner, correct?
Right. So basically, it's like you just randomly partnered up with somebody random, and then you're judged on your musicality, like footwork, things like that. Simple things like it's by the Brazilian Zouk Dance Council.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's it called? Like it's amazing. A lot of people don't like it because it's like some people are nervous about it because you're being judged and it's like a whole thing. But I think it's like social excitement. Like you're like, oh, even if you don't make it or if you do make it, it's like you still did something.
Yeah.
Like you still tried it out or you're into it. And the cool thing is the U.S. is like getting real big on that. So a lot of people are going up in ranks and things like that, and they're literally able to label themselves as an intermediate, as an advanced, as a novice, things like that.
Okay.
And the cool thing is, even if you've been dancing 10, 15, 12 years, everybody always starts somewhere.
Okay.
So there's people that are, instructors, they're doing the Jack and Jill for the first time. Sometimes they're like, oh, you know what? They're in the novice level or something like that. They're just starting out.
Yeah.
Everybody starts at the one place. So that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
So it's not judged on like your social status.
Okay.
It's like
Right.
It's by skill level.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
I definitely understand that. I want to I guess really ask y'all, the last question, and I want you both to answer this. All right. Can you give me one tip that can make anyone a better dancer immediately?
I feel like for me, it's don't be afraid to walk around and just practice things in your house. Like, don't be afraid just to do the movements all over the place. That's what I did when I first started dancing. I didn't walk to my couch. I did the basic to my couch.
Okay.
It's like kind of immerse yourself in it.
Yeah,
People
seriously.
say you learn a language as quick as possible if you immerse yourself in it. So why does it have to be any different for dance?
No, I understand that. Definitely.
Yeah, that's okay. That makes sense. I like that. I would say dance like yourself. Like like don't dance like anybody else. One of the things we say in our class is something I brought over from capoeira. From capoeira, there was there's a saying. It's ninguém joga do meu jeito. That means no one plays like me.
Okay.
So then you change it up to ninguém dança do meu jeito. So like no one dances like me. So if you dance like yourself and you don't mimic or copy another person, then it's a lot more unique and nobody's able to copy that style.
Right.
Yeah. So we always say in our class, hey, when you're dancing, don't look around at other people, just the partner you're with, because that's where the dance comes from.
Right.
Yeah.
I think for that, in that beginner stage, I understand why we might imitate. That's what we want to be like.
Of course, yeah.
But I think that's your progression as a dancer is to find your own style, correct?
Absolutely.
So I understand that. Yeah.
I mean, at the same time, a lot of times people are so focused and worried on trying to do the right thing based off what they see, but they don't know if that right thing that person's doing worked for them. Like for example, let's say I'm 5'5".
Mm-hmm.
I've seen dancers that are 5'11", 6 foot. They can do amazing things because they're able to lift their elbow up a lot more. I have to adjust because I'm short.
Right.
So if I keep focusing on doing everything that they're doing, it'll just be a bigger struggle for me.
Yeah.
So it's I'm just saying try to make something work for you compared to trying to see how what they're doing is what you want to try to do.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
No, I understand that, man. I definitely do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, as a follow, how's that?
Yeah, I feel like being comfortable with yourself and your own movements is and even being, learning to actually be confident is what improves your dancing
of course.
immensely,
Yeah. I think Yeah, I think confidence is so important.
Oh, yeah.
And I know as far you can tell when a leader's confident in the movie he's about to do and when he's not.
Absolutely.
I know you can sense that. I definitely understand that. So yeah.
I mean, it's just nervous though. I mean, like a lot of starting out dancing, it's really like
especially for a lead. Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
That's all I know.
It's like, I mean, like for me when I first started dancing, it was just like asking like a follow to dance was like it was like yes or no, and if she said yes, what am I gonna do? like, I'd rather her say no. Like, hold on. But like if she said yes, you're like this. Okay, I gotta pull out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna do this. In my head, I literally have like a whole like syllabus of what I'm gonna do, and it's not exactly what I come out with. So I mean, it's just about like, just try. You know, just try.
Yeah.
And you know, if you feel like it wasn't what you thought, then like try it again the next day with something else. Because in the dance community itself, it's not where like, oh, this isn't like a place where, oh, only the best of the best. This isn't like a ring. It's like people are there to have fun first, and then everything else comes after. It's like dancing is fun, and when you remove that aspect, then it like puts stress on you. You're like worried, like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. But just go for it.
See, I mean, the reason we dance is because it's fun, right? We want to have fun, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't go out to have a bad time.
You know, today, you know, I'm you know what? I'm expecting a bad night. Let's go. Let's do this, guys.
Yeah.
Like, no.
See, I mean, at this point, you know, I really want to thank you both for taking time out today to talk to me.
Oh, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Of course. Let me ask you this real quick. You know, for both of you all, you know, what are some of your upcoming events? You know, what are going on in your life?
So I have my birthday coming up.
Hey, perfect.
Okay.
Happy birthday.
Also, one of the big events in the DC area is the Halloween party at the Salsa Room.
Hey.
I'll tell you right now, it's like one of those events where missing it is like you're just gonna regret.
Okay,
like,
sure
so
enough.
it's like one of those great events.
Is that October 31st or?
It's actually on Wednesday, October 30th.
Okay.
There's that, and then we have Masters of Bachata in Virginia Beach.
Okay.
Hosted by Ferocity Dance Company and Kat.
Hey.
And literally, that's the funny thing. She was there one time, and like a year before I met her, she was there. But I saw her from a distance. Okay. And I'll be honest with you, I was like this. I was like, whose child is that? Like, because it was so. I was like, why is there like, who is that? Like, why are they here? And I'm like, but I was like this. But not yet. I was like this. Oh, she's just a short person. Okay. But like, but yeah, Masters of Bachata. Also, one of the big things that I like to do is the Friendsgiving. Okay. Every Thanksgiving Day. I host a Friendsgiving for those people that either don't have family or have nowhere to go and things like that. Hey. I'll just get people together. We'll do like a big potluck, hang out and stuff like that.
That's pretty cool.
And feed stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you real quick? Do y'all teach weekly? Do you have weekly classes?
No, we don't teach weekly. We just do certain events. This past Monday we were at Top Golf in Richmond. Okay. You
actually teaching or?
Yeah, we taught a class. We taught a class
at Top Golf. Okay, I didn't know about this.
It was hosted by RVA Bachata. Okay. And so yeah, on top of that, we'll do other events where we travel and things like that. Okay. So you know, one of the other things that we like to do is just like to go to events and be present. Okay. So, like, if we teach, that's the great part. But, like, for us, like, supporting those events makes a difference. Like, Bachata Brunch on Sundays. Every Sunday. Viva la Bachata. Like, all these different events, again, people have an understanding, oh, you know, we're here, we're dancing. And I think it helps out for both of us that we dance other stuff, not just Brazilian Zouk. Okay. Like we're like she does tango, and we also we do bachata, and I don't know about salsa. Salsa is there somewhere. Okay, all right. By force, we have to sometimes. Hey. But yeah, I mean, like it's like if we're so diverse in the dance community, so we appreciate we love that part.
Sure enough. And what about you guys? Any Any upcoming events? Anything you want to speak on?
Basically what he said.
Okay.
I'll go to a lot of the ones that he does.
Okay.
And then I just go to my local dance events here. So.
Sure enough. Okay. So yeah, real quick then, tell me, how can people reach out to you? How can they get in contact with you?
They can reach out to us on the Instagram. It's Alex and Cello Dance, or we have Facebook, Alex and Cello Dance as well. Best way to hit us up, message us, any questions, things like that. And again, we thank you for this. This is amazing. So yeah, we appreciate it. We love what you're doing. So
yeah. And real quick, so the next Zouk festival in DC, is it normally in June, July? When is it?
It's beginning June 5th, 2020.
Okay,
yeah.
June
So
5th.
it's always in June.
Okay.
It just fluctuates based off of. There's another event, Capitol Congress.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I try to avoid overlapping.
Right.
So try to make sure there's a 2 or 3 week gap in between that.
Okay, sure enough. Yeah, so be on the lookout for that definitely.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So like I said, thank you so much. Real quick, any last thing you want to say before we close this out? For both of you? Oh yeah. Any last thoughts?
Anything you want to say?
I would say, yeah. Actually, I would like to say this, and I think this hasn't been stressed enough. Is if people have been dancing for a while, that's nice, but try to, don't forget we all started somewhere.
Yeah.
One of the things we try to say is, hashtag dance with everyone. It's like, no matter what, if it's their first time, try to dance out. We can always dance with those veteran dancers anytime we want, but this could be the first time that this person's trying it out, and just give them a chance. It's like, hey, would you like to dance? And people are like, oh, I'm not good. I'm like, oh, we didn't ask if you're an expert. It's like, we just want to enjoy the dance. And that could make or break somebody in the dance.
Seriously, yeah.
So just dance with everyone. Don't forget other people. Try to give everybody a chance. That's all I'm saying.
That's important, man.
I mean, again, if certain leads are just, hey, teach me bachata. I want to dance bachata. Show me right now.
Okay.
We're not talking about that.
Yeah,
just be comfortable, be conscious, and just have fun. Have fun.
Yeah. I definitely understand that, man. Yeah, like you said, that can make or break someone's career, man. They're like the dancing journey, man.
Yeah,
the person
exactly.
Go out and they don't have fun. It's like, why even continue?
Right, and then the thing is, we've been to certain places, and it's like I'll see somebody standing there for 3 or 4 songs. I'm DJing, I see somebody standing, I'm like, oh man. I'm like, all right, let me go ahead and try to grab them for a dance. And then they're still standing. I'm like, but then it's like I can't really tell people, hey guys, dance with this person.
Right.
But it's just if you see somebody standing, hey, would you like to dance? Hey, would you like to dance? What's your name? How you doing? This is your first time here. That's literally how the scene can get bigger.
Seriously.
I think that there's little bubbles here, little bubbles here. We just need to all
come together.
Yeah, nothing is wrong with that. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, I understand that. What about you, Isa?
I completely agree with Sammy. One dance can completely change someone's night, all together.
Right,
so I know when I first started beginning, I felt like I was a chore for some people when I was dancing. I felt bad dancing with them, but one person comes up and asks me to dance, and my whole night has changed just because they looked like they were having fun dancing with me. But not just that, I genuinely felt comfortable and enjoyed myself because of that as well.
That's huge. So. Yeah, definitely. I think that's a great way to wrap up this episode. Awesome. I want to thank you both for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Of course. And now we do it for this episode of the 2FE podcast. Thank you so much.
You too.
Hey everyone, if you made it this far all the way to the end of the video, I want to thank you so much. My overall goal with making these interviews and these episodes is to give a voice to dancers, to give them a platform to speak their story. So if this is of value to anyone, then that means the world to me. My overall goal is to give value to the dance community. So if you find no value in this, then I urge you to please let me know where I can improve on. I truly want to, just give value and content to the dance community. So please let me know how I can improve, where I'm messing up, because to be 100% honest with you, I'm learning along the way as I do this. I truly am. So to be able to interact with, the dance community, it means the world to me, because it gives me feedback and it lets me know, what I'm doing right, where I can improve upon, what I'm doing wrong, which I feel like might be more important. So please, if you all could comment and just let me know what you think, it means the world to me, because that feedback just helps me improve. So please comment as well. Please like and subscribe. That means a lot as well. But I want to say thank you so much for just watching this, because it means the world to me. I want to take you on this journey of the Two Left Feet podcast. I'm very excited for it. So once again, thank you so much.